Welcome to Sage Audio. Today let's look at how to mix harmonics. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Understanding fundamental and harmonics. For this video, the chapters are in no particular order. Also, I'm mainly going to be using Melda Audio's free saturator plugin, so feel free to download it if you want to follow along. Now, if you want to understand how to mix with harmonics, it helps to first understand what harmonics are. Now, every signal has a fundamental frequency, or its lowest frequency. Harmonics form in relation to this fundamental, and they're multiples of the fundamental frequency that greatly impact a sound's timbre. The fundamental is called the first order, one multiple above it is the second ordered harmonic, two multiples above the fundamental is the third order harmonic, and so on. Now, aside from changing the timbre, harmonics fill out the frequency spectrum, making a signal sound fuller, so let's observe this by listening to a signal with and without added harmonics. Harmonics and the phantom fundamental. Harmonics play one other crucial role that'll be important to your mixes, albeit in a more obscure way. Harmonics cause a psychoacoustic phenomenon in which the fundamental frequency becomes easier to hear. In fact, when we hear multiple harmonics, our brains will automatically generate the fundamental even when it's not there. Now, this is important to listeners playing your mixes over smaller speakers, since these speakers often attenuate the lowest frequencies or the fundamental. To illustrate this, let's listen to a sine wave with harmonics and then attenuate the fundamental. Now, when attenuated, we won't be able to physically hear the fundamental, but its key or note is still going to be apparent. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Blending even and odd harmonics. Now that we understand harmonics a little better, let's talk about how they can be combined amongst multiple instruments. Each harmonic takes up space in the frequency spectrum, meaning we can use variations of them to blend similar instruments. For example, our kick and bass. If the two have fundamentals at the same frequency, we can create an even order harmonic on the bass and an odd one for the kick, or vice versa, to help differentiate the two. Let's take a listen to two competing signals processed using different harmonics. Tuning with harmonics. Since even-ordered harmonics are always doubles or even multiples of the fundamental frequency, they'll always be in tune. For example, if the fundamental is C2 or 65.4 Hz, then a second-order harmonic will be C3 or 130.8 Hz, while the fourth-order harmonic will be 261 Hz, and so on. Now, that said, if we want to emphasize the in-tune nature of a signal, we should add even-order harmonics. Let's take a listen to it. Emphasizing kick with second-ordered harmonic. Following the idea of even-ordered harmonics, if we want our kick or bass to be super full, warm, thick, or any of those adjectives, we should distort or saturate it with a second-order harmonic. Since this is the lowest possible harmonic, it's going to occupy low frequencies. So let's listen to a second-order harmonic being added to a kick drum and notice how it makes it a lot more impressive. Clarifying vocal with high-order harmonics. You may have heard of an exciter plugin before. What it does is add high-ordered harmonics and use a high-pass filter, in turn amplifying high frequencies and adding a lot of clarity. I'll use Tape by Baby Audio to do this and increase the presence to emphasize higher harmonics. Let's take a listen and notice how the vocal has more high-frequency content now.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Today's video is brought to you by Musia, a chord and melody generator that makes creating music and learning new chords incredibly easy. The auto chord feature lets you quickly create chords within a specific key, then transpose them if you need to. The chords it generates always have a very musical progression, and the plugin even lets you switch the genre. Also, you can drag and drop the MIDI that Musia creates into your DAW, meaning you aren't limited to any particular sound. Right now they're having a 30-day free trial, so check that out using the link in the description. Impulse response, harmonic reverb. This next chapter is going to be a bit experimental, so bear with me here. In short, I'm going to create reverb using white noise, EQ that emphasizes harmonics, and a convolution reverb plugin. After I generate white noise, I'll use an EQ to emphasize potential harmonic frequencies. Now to do this, I'll need to know the key of the song. For example, if the song is in C major, then all 7 notes that are shown here can be amplified and the 5 that aren't can be attenuated. Once I've done this, I can export the white noise as a WAV file and import it into a convolution reverb plugin like Logic Pro's Space Designer. I'll adjust the length, the volume's envelope to get the reverb tail to sound the way I want it to, and maybe attenuate some high and low frequencies before blending in the reverb. So what we've done here is create reverb that emphasizes harmonics, creating all of the benefits of harmonics that we've discussed previously. Let's take a listen to this reverb being used.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Creating harmonics with multiple impulse responses. Aside from the harmonics generated with plugins, analog equipment can create harmonics as well. Except, whereas a plugin's harmonics are mainly static or consistent, analog generated harmonics occur over a very short amount of time and in turn have an ADSR. Interestingly, this can be emulated with impulse responses. Now, unlike the last chapter, in which we only needed one impulse response, doing this takes multiple impulse responses. A company called Acoustica makes plugins capable of this, so let's listen to harmonics derived from impulse responses and see if we can notice a difference.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Harmonics and aliasing, or foldback. Although harmonics have many benefits when mixing, if they're too high in frequency, they can cause issues. If a harmonic goes above the maximum supported frequency of our session, it's going to get replicated down the frequency spectrum and is likely going to be disharmonious or no longer tied to the fundamental. To avoid this, we can increase our session sampling rate, or even better, introduce oversampling. Let's take a listen to high-ordered harmonics with and without oversampling, and keep in mind that the effect might be subtle.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.